So the reason I started bodybuilding, I wouldn't say I started bodybuilding at first. I was a high school athlete throughout all high school. Played basketball and baseball, and then eventually just basketball. And I was good enough to play in college, but I decided I wanted to be a doctor. I needed to focus on my studies, so I wouldn't have time to play that. So I picked up working out, just lifting weights. After basketball season was over, just to do something, stay in shape, put on some muscle, look a little bit better. So that happened about March. And then in about November of the same year, pretty sure it was 2017, my girlfriend decided she wanted to do a cut. So I was like, okay, I'll do it with her. So with that, I got into dieting and I got more aware and knowledgeable about what foods to eat and what yada yada. And I really enjoyed it. The reason I started to bodybuilding and I continue to do it, it's because it's a competition. It's you versus you. Only person that stops you from reaching your goals is yourself. And I like I like that pressure. I like being dependable, and I like something waking me up every single morning. It's a competition, and I just love it. I thrive in it. The process of how my body adapted. So this is what people reach out to me all the time, ask about bodybuilding, this and that. And when you first start lifting weights, and actually if you count a diet into it, you're gonna make instant results when you first start. I remember I put on 20 pounds in about 4 months, easy weight. And I was happy with it. I went from about 185 to 205, and then I cut back down to 195. And then the next year, so 2018, from about August of 2018 to about end of January of 2019, I went from 200 pounds to 230 pounds. I really think my last off season was a good one. I really pushed my body and I got enough food to grow. But then at the end of January, I'm pretty sure it's January 26th to be exact, I started a 26-week prep with my coach. Why did I decide to compete in a physique competition? So like I said earlier, I want to be a doctor. I don't want to be a bodybuilder. I don't want to be an IFBB pro. But I do love bodybuilding. I do love everything about it. And it was just itching for me to do it. Last summer, 2018, one of my good friends I lived with, he competed in a show. And I was like, man, I want to do that. So this year, so last August, I decided I'm going to do a show. And I did everything I needed to. Had a great off season. Hired a coach, did a 26-week prep, didn't cheat or anything. And then finally on July 27th, I stepped on stage. It was a great time. Feeling of getting up on stage it's indescribable. Unless you've done it or done something similar to that, you will never really understand, because it kind of just hit me. I remember I was walking out from backstage, I saw the curtain, and right when the curtain is, you got hundreds of people looking at you, looking at your physique, you got your judges judging you, and you got to be tight throughout the whole time you're on stage. You have to be flex, your core, and and all that. I didn't really realize how much fun I had until after I got off stage. I remember going to the prep. My parents were asking, will I do it again and this and that, and I told them I doubt I'll ever do it again, but it depends what happens on stage. And on stage, right after I got off stage, I went to my parents, I was like, I'm not doing that again. But after a week, I saw another competition, and I was like, maybe, we'll see, but we'll get into that later. In my competition, it was my first time competing, so I can compete in the novice class. I got 3rd place overall. I think I could have got 2nd. I do believe my core and my back were much better than the guy that got 2nd place. He did have better delts, he did have bigger arms, he was a little bit older, he was a little bit mature in those areas, but I do believe I deserve 2nd place. And then in the open class, I got fourth in my class. I'm a big guy. I'm 6'5". I stepped on stage at 205 for a for a local show. That's pretty heavy. And so I stepped in the heaviest class with the biggest guys. It's kind of unfair, but fourth, I'm not mad about it. Maybe could have got third, depends on the judges, but I'm not upset about that one. But I do honestly think I believe second place in that novice division. Do I plan on competing again in the future? I do want to compete again in the future. Competing, it takes a huge toll on your body. 26 weeks, and that's pretty much your main priority. I'm going to my junior year in my undergrad, so this May I do plan on taking the MCAT, the most important test of my life. So I've got that, and then a huge family vacation that I got to plan around. So if I can plan around those two, find a competition that works, that I can have at least 10 weeks of solid prep that doesn't interfere with the MCAT and doesn't interfere with that family vacation, then yes, I will compete again. I'd like to compete again. I'd like to step on stage, be myself, and hopefully qualify for a national show. Alright, so bodybuilding's taught me a lot of things. It's taught me like self-discipline, self-motivation, just like being honest with yourself, because like when it comes to bodybuilding, like if you're a bodybuilder, say you first start working out, if you work out, you can eat, it doesn't matter, you're gonna put on weight, you're gonna look good. But for myself, like I've been doing this for 2.5 years now. If I work out, yeah, that's great. But it depends on what I eat that day. That shows in my body. Like, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Like this week, I've been after my show, I had a huge binge, and I dropped 10 pounds. And then now I've been trying to just maintain, kind of lose a little bit of weight here, and like chip away a little bit slowly, like a pound a week, but nothing, like no serious diet. But like last night, it was my friend's birthday, and I went out to eat with them, gained 4 pounds. It's just what happens with your body. So with that, I've grown a lot of self-discipline. I've learned a lot about myself and how patience. Alright, so throughout prep, I learned a lot of things. The number one thing I learned is through patience, dedication, and hard work, anything is possible. And so yeah. I mean, and obviously growing on the physical side, I mean, I went from a scrawny guy that was 185 pounds to right now I'm sitting at around 223 pounds. Still have a six-pack, I'm in decent condition right now. To all those who are wanting to get into bodybuilding, especially if you want to do a show, talk to others about how serious it is. People say you can do it part-time, but to be honest, prep is like a full-time job. You're always cooking, always eating, always working out, cardio, water intake, it's so, like, the smallest things matter. You got your sodium, your sugars, everything, weigh-ins. But if you want to do it, like, say if you want to compete and you want to go into, like, looking at like a hobby, you're not going to do well. It's very serious. People who do it, it's hours and hours of work, but in the end, it is worth it if you love this sport. If you don't love this sport and you're only doing it as a hobby, like if you're not like passionate and like, I'm obsessed with going to the gym. I'm upset, like ever since I really started counting my macros, like I can't stop, like always in my head, I'm thinking, oh, how much sugar, how many carbs, how many fats, like. And that's me being partly mentally ill, but like that's who I am now, and that's how you change with bodybuilding. So like, there is a chance of you going over the deep end in bodybuilding and like ruining your life. There's other parts like such as steroids. I'm 100% natural, always will be. I don't want to be an IFBB pro. I don't need steroids. But like there's that route, there's the route like mental disorders such as like eating disorder, that I feel like I'm still kind of fighting. After my show, it's getting a lot better, but I'm being able to control it. A lot of people can't control their eating disorder and they continue to binge and eat. And like me, after my show for 2 weeks, I told myself I can eat whatever I want. But after that 2 weeks, I put on 30 pounds. I looked at me, I was like, dang, I look like crap. Let's go to work. So I dropped 10 pounds in a week. I was starving that week. I wanted food because my body's like, oh, you haven't ate, just keep eating. But you just gotta, like, some people can't get over that mental disorder and they just keep eating and keep eating and keep eating to the point where they get diabetes. So yeah, bodybuilding is great. People look great, but there's a lot of things behind the pictures and everything that goes on in your head that can be very dangerous. So for anyone who wanting to get into this sport, wanting to compete, wanting to just work out, if you just want to work out, diet, like that's okay. Yeah, you're just gonna have to flip a switch in your head, but that's not a big deal. But like if you're wanting to compete, definitely talk to multiple people before you do it because it could be very dangerous. And I appreciate it for y'all. Thank you.